In this video I'm going to make rollers drum and bass like this. All the samples I use in this video are going to be from my ROLLERS DNB sample pack, link down below if you want to get that, and then any other samples are going to be from Splice. The track is in D minor and we're using 174 BPM. We're going to start with the drums, then we're going to go on to the basses. We've got loads of basses in this one, then the vocals, then the instruments, and then the effects. Let's start with the drums on the drop. So we're going to highlight the first 4 bars and then we're going to recreate this. So we're using this kick drum. It's actually the kick drum from my jump up pack, but I'm sure there'll be many similar ones in the ROLLERS DNB pack as well. And then we're just literally going to put it on the first beat, and then we're going to put one halfway across the third beat, and then we're just going to copy these across like this. And we get this pattern. Now we're going to add in the clap. So this is clap 7, and then we've just changed the out here to make it a bit more snappier. On the post-processing, we've added a camel crusher on British clean setting. So then we just duplicate this on the second and fourth beat, and then copy it all the way across like this. To copy it, I'm just holding Control and Shift and drag. Now we get this. Now we've copied clap 8 into the one below and made it even snappier. So it goes from this to this, and then we're going to use this to add groove to our track. So let me show you what I mean. So we're going to zoom in on this first bar, and then we're going to put it just before the kick drum here, and then we're going to do that again here. So we're on step mode and we're just going just before this kick drum here like this, and then we're going to add another one on this one here, and then what we're going to do is just copy all 3 of these and paste them here. So this clap sounds like this. You can hear it's just adding that groove underneath, and when the basses come in later, you'll hear even more how it sounds. So next we've just used a loop. So we've used the hi-hat loop 9, and we've just cut the first bar, and then we've just copied the bar across like this. And then I've done the same with hi-hat loop 5. So I've got the first 4 bars and copied it in. And then the mix down of this is going to help it a lot. So let me show you this mix down. So you can see it playing on the right, and then the mix down will be on the left here. We've got the kick drum going from kick 2 to the kick group like that. And then we've got the hi-hats in the hi-hat 1 slot here going to the hat group, the clap going here, and the percussion going into the tops here. So you can see the click is the loudest element, the clap is the second loudest element, these are super quiet in the background, and then these are the third quietest, and then these are super quiet in the background, just to add like a layer to make it sound more interesting. So then what we've done here is we've copy and pasted this here, but then we've gone in and changed the last 2 bars here to add a bit of variation. So you can see if you want to copy this kick drum pattern, we've done this here, and then we've added in this extra clap here, jump up clap 12, down here and here, and then this gets this pattern. We're basically just trying to keep the track moving, keep it interesting, keep these transition sections in. So that's after 8 bars, and then after 16 bars, we add a different variation. So we copied everything across and then just changed this end bit and added in this rollers end break phrase, which sounds like this. Just to add some more variation basically. So what I did in this track is I made the drums first, and then I made the build up afterwards. So you can see it's really simple. I've just copied this across to here and then chopped it slightly. So we've got this for the intro. And then in the last bit, it's the whole bit. So that just repeats itself. And then here is just exactly the same loop. And then we've added in the clap as well and the kick. And then that just basically repeats itself pretty much until the end here, where we add this love filter on the drum bus where it gradually filters out on here. So you just Control, drag across here, and then right click, create automation clip, and it'll create this, and then you can gradually, well, let's see what it does. So, and there you go. And then a little gap, 1 bar for the pre-drop, then it goes into the drop. Now I use this project template in all my tracks, and if you want to learn exactly how I make these tracks, as well as getting one-to-one help from me to improve your tracks, my music production academy is down below. It literally covers everything about music production, plus you get loads of help from me. Now let's look at the basses. So we've got 3 different basses going on here. I'll play them on their own. And you can hear the sidechain is just applying there as well, so it sounds a little bit odd. So we've got this crazy stab bass, a wobble bass, and then another wobble bass at the end. And how I made this was basically just through loads of trial and error. So I tried loads of different basses from the sample pack, and then I switched it up, and I switched it up again, and then finally I got this. So it's playing in D, and you can see D, F, E, C sharp, and then this wobble is playing in D, and this wobble here is playing in D as well. So we've gone for the A, B, A, C pattern. So this melody here is exactly the same as this. This is slightly varied from this, and then this is a brand new pattern. So this is the easiest way to make melodies in your drop. Just follow the A, B, A, C method. And then of course this is just repeated here. So all these presets are available in the Rollers pack, but I'll show you how to make them as well. So this is the first one. So it's pretty simple. It's just a sine wave and a sub, and then some noise as well. And then everything is on this LFO1. So you see the level, the level, the level. And then if we look at the post-processing, it's on the distortion as well, on diode 1, on the compressor, and on the EQ. Now we've got this little LFO on the master tune as well. So LFO2, 12, master tune, and then pointing that way. But that's not really doing that much. And then the real way to get this sound to sound even better is through the post-processing. So this is what it sounds like without the post-processing. And then we've got an OTT on it. And then we've got this Valhalla Room reverb on these settings here, and that's really helping it. Makes it sound nice and juicy. And then of course we've got our kickstart just sidechaining. And then we've got a sub bass here underneath. This is just the sustained sub bass, just looks like this. So you can see bin 3 and then like that with a bit of compression on it and EQ. Now I haven't actually EQ'd out the lows on this, so I'm going to do that now, and it'll probably sound a little bit better. So high pass filter. And then we'll go to about 200-ish, 190 maybe. Yeah, that sounds a little bit better. So we're just making sure there's no clashing between the main bass and the sub. Okay, now let's have a look at the wobble bass. So this is just playing a D here. And again, there's a lot of post-processing going on, but I'll turn that off for now. So without it, it sounds like this. We're creating a wobble with the LFO on trigger and 1/8 rate, and then we're using basic shapes and basic mini on +7, -2 there, and then we're just affecting the levels again to get that wobble, and we're using a filter MG Low 12 with A and B on and the cutoff all the way up here, and the drive up, so that's just applying some more pressure to the sound, and then we've got a hyper on, a filter on, and a compressor on. And on the reverb setting on here. Oh yeah, and the names up here, if you've got the pack and just want to grab it, it's parting. And then we've got an OTT on 28%, 182%, and then Camel Crush on British Clean. And then we've got this EQ. Again, you can see I'm cutting out the lows because we've got this sub bass underneath. And then we're boosting a little bit the highs here because I thought that frequency range sounded the best. So I boosted here to get it to kind of match with the first bass. So they were kind of sharing the same frequency area. Here without it. Doesn't sound quite as good. Just cutting through a little bit more. So then the first bass comes back in and plays this nice little melody, and then it repeats itself, but we have this extra wobble at the end here. Now this is a wobble I love using in loads of my tracks called Electric, and it's just made like this. So we're on the 1/4T rate here, the trip at the bottom. And then we've got the level, and then we've got FM from the sub. So this triangle here, coming in here. You see that makes the sound. And then we've got a compressor and EQ. And we've actually got no post-processing on this one, just our kickstart to make it nice and simple for you. And then at the end here, we use this wobble again, but we increase the octave. So what I've done to do this is I've gone into the sound, grabbed this here, just clicked on it, and then you can either come up here to tools and last tweaks and create automation clip, but make sure you grab the area you want to make first, or sometimes that doesn't work. Make sure the last thing you clicked on is this. So you come up here and then browse parameters, and there you go. You see octave B, create automation clip. And then you can just right click here, and it'll go up an octave. So you can hear it changes. And I thought that sounded way cooler than just keeping the same octave. Just add some nice variation to the track there. So then this just repeats here. And then what I'll probably do is copy all this across to here and then create some more variation in the basses. And maybe add another percussion element in the drums or something like that. So now let's look at the vocals. So we've actually got quite a bit going on with this vocal. So we've got this cool hey sound from a jungle pack I found. The jungle pack is actually free, so I'll leave a link to that in the description so you can download it off a website I found. And then we've got this sound from Splice, which is just like some vocal riser. I thought, because the intro is going to be like quite dramatic and dark, that fit in perfectly. And then we just found these little elements, like breath sounds, reverse vocal risers. And then we just slapped a load of reverb on them, basically. And then I just keep it moving like this, keep this vocal repeating at the end of each section. And then right at the end here, I found these vocals are both from the jungle pack as well. This sound like this. And this has just got a load of reverb on, a claw vocals on it, a load of delay on it, EQ, getting rid of the lows, and then we've got this main vocal with like pretty much the same stuff on. And this comes in before the drop, like this here. And this did have a little bit more on it, but I got rid of it because I thought it sounded better just finishing there. Just fiddled about with it until it worked and was in time. That's a big mistake I see in a lot of beginners. They never know where the vocals are in time, so just really focus on that and make sure they are in time. And if you're not sure, then either ask me in the production academy or ask someone else. I'll make sure it is. And then the vocals repeat here, apart from I'm filtering in this. It was a bit loud otherwise. You can see down here, just this section here and the same here. And then we'll put that there. I think that would sound better there rather than there. So it's not repeating too soon. And then we've got a few instruments that are supporting the vocals. So we've got this like ambience sound, which I found on Nexus. So it was just in atmospheres and then ambience 1. And it's just playing a D basically throughout. Sounds like this. And then I've just turned it right down, added some EQ, because there were loads of weird frequencies, and then added some reverb. Now these are really hard to find. It took me a lot of trial and error to find the right sounds, because it's so hard to find dark rollers sounds in like anywhere, even on Splice as well. Just be ready to spend like half an hour just looking for one ambient sound, or one like pad that works. Pads are really hard to find good ones. I found this one on Splice here, which I introduced after 16 bars, and this took like 20 minutes to find. It was ridiculous. This one here, the amount of trial and error I went through to get one that sounded decent was annoying. So we've got this that comes in here when the drums come in. I'll play that for you in a minute. And then we've got this pad here as well, which just basically adds a layer to this one. And then so it comes in here. And this is the loudest element because it's the best sample. And you can hear it's just building up on everything. So with all the vocals in as well and the drums in, it starts to sound fat. So then all these cut off just before the vocal comes in. So not before the pre-drop, before this vocal here comes in. But a lot of these have reverb on as well, so it doesn't just like stop here, it like gradually comes off here. So it's like coming down here, the volume. Imagine this is the volume, it's coming down here. And then as it stops, this vocal comes in. So it's a nice like blend in to the vocals. Finally, we've got some effects. So we've got a Atmos from the sample pack, which sounds like this. We've got this impact from Splice, which sounds like this, matched with this impact from Splice, which sounds like this. I thought that sounded really cool together. And then we just got a riser from the pack, which just comes in every 8 bars, and then a couple more risers before the drop. And these stop 1 bar before. And then we've just got some more effects. So this is a full effects loop, and so is this one. So I've just dragged in 2 full effects loops from the pack, and then I've just chopped out bits that I want from them. So I've got this like cool little effects in the drop, and these like vocal breaths as well, which I thought were cool. So yeah, this is something new I'm just starting to do in the packs. I'm doing like full effects loops, so you can just drag them in and then chop out the bits you want. And it just increases your workflow even faster. And they're really, really good. It helps you get ideas down fast as well. So that is the track complete. If you've got any questions, feel free to leave them down below and I'll answer them. And if you've enjoyed this video, I really appreciate if you could smash that like button. It helps the channel out a lot. And now let's hear what the full track sounds like. And that is the track complete. And if you want to support the channel, then feel free to get the Rollers DNB sample pack. I'm certain it'll help you in your tracks. And if you want to improve your music production, get help from me, then make sure to join the Music Production Academy down below as well. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.